Welcome back everyone. So far we have discussed how to install IDE and how I'm going to write my first code in a Python IDE and some basic stuff we covered in the last video. Okay, so whatever we did how to print a data or string or how to do some calculations. Okay, so as I said, 10 plus 5 is 15. Okay, that's cool. So what I'm going to do with that? Okay, so you need to store the value in particular variable so you can use the variable in somewhere else. Okay, so basically so when you talk about some kind of variable, what are the things which you need to do first thing? Okay, so okay, let's do something. Okay, if it is a variable, so what are the things comes into your mind? The first thing, what kind of data, whether it is an integer or it is a decimal or it is a string. Okay, and then the variable name. Okay, and then variable value. This is the common parameters across all the programming language. Okay, so how are you going to achieve that in a Python? Okay, so okay, let's do that. So keep that in mind when you're working with the variables. You need to know these things, what kind of data I'm using and what is my variable name and what is my variable values. Okay, okay, can I do something like this? Variable a is equal to 10. Can you do that? No, we cannot do that. Okay, so when you start working on the Python, you need to keep few things in your mind. There is no need for semicolon at the end of the line. So in other languages or most of the languages, the semicolons indicates it's the end of the line. But in Python, you don't have to use the semicolon. And also when you're working with some variables, you don't have to provide the variable or what is the data type which I'm going to use it. Okay, so Python comes with a dynamic typecast. So what it is happening is, so I can use a is equal to 10. Okay, I can print a. Okay, this is a simple way to creating a variable in Python. Okay, I have a variable called a and the value is 10. I can do the same thing like this also. I have a variable called a and I have a string inside Python. I can print a. So what is happening here? How it is identifying? Because the first time I'm using a is an integer value and then I'm using a is a Python. It's a string value. So how Python is identifying what kind of data type is I'm working with? Okay, that is where the Python comes into a real good way to the developers. So it is a dynamic type change. Okay, so for example, if you go for Java, it's not a dynamic, it is a static. You need to provide what is the data type and what is this variable name and what is the value for it. So, so in that case, Python is really helpful for the developer. So you don't have to provide any kind of data setup and all. Okay, so this is the data I'm going to use and this is the type of it and this is the value for it. Okay, so here you don't have to provide this is my data type. Okay, and the value for a is not a static. The reason, the first time when I type a, I provided 10. So then again I used a is equal to Python. So the 10 is overridden. So once the data is overridden, you won't get the 10 again. Okay, so you will get it the latest updated value. Okay, so this is a simple step. How we are going to create a variables in Python. The step is the variable name equal to the variable value or simply value. This is the step. Okay, you don't have to do anything else, and make sure when you're working with variables, the variable names no space conditions. You should not provide any space between the variable names. For example, if you have variable student and no space and not stored with numbers. Okay, so these are the some predefined conditions. Okay, let's try something here. So I have a student name, student name equal John. What is happening? Syntax error because you have the variable name over there, but it is not in a proper way because the variable name should not contain any space. Okay, so how we can do that? Student name equal to John. Let's see what happened. That's it. It's cool, right? Okay. So this is how we need to work with a variable name. Okay. Again, we still working on the shell environment. Okay. So when you start working on some development, you need to create a new Python shell script file and you need to start using it. Let's do that in the next video. Let's just give it a try and let me know the clarifications. Okay, we'll see you in the next video. Thank you.